Thursday, the 19th of July. Welcome to Business Morning. Thank you very much for finding time to be here live on Channels Television, Nigeria's news leader. I am Bosun Omafai. This is the next 1 hour of the best of business and the markets. Let's start with just came in a few minutes ago from EcoBank Nigeria. Says it has appointed Patrick Akinwuton as the managing director designate, pending the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He will be replacing the EcoBank Nigeria CEO, who will be leaving the company next month. According to this 6-paragraph statement issued by EcoBank, the new MD designates Patrick Akinwuton. Before his appointment was the group executive in charge of consumer banking, responsible for leading the consumer banking business across EcoBank's global network of 40 countries, 36 of which are in Africa. Akinwuton is a seasoned banker with over 20 years of senior and executive management experience, and he has held several strategic positions within the EcoBank group in Ghana, Togo, and Nigeria. According to the statement, he had previously been a group executive director on the board of EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, and earlier executive director in EcoBank Nigeria. The chairman of EcoBank Nigeria, Mr. John Abo, says he congratulated Patrick Akinwuton on his comeback, on his new appointment, and coming back into EcoBank Nigeria. And he says, quote, "We warmly welcome Patrick back to EcoBank Nigeria and look forward to providing him with full support from the board." And that's the statement from EcoBank Nigeria. Patrick Akinwuton is the managing director designate to replace the outgoing managing director for the Nigerian unit of EcoBank. So it's all in the air as we speak. This is my hashtag, Fly Nigeria Air. Nigeria is floating a new national airline nearly 15 years after its predecessor, Nigeria Airways, was formally liquidated under the Obasanjo's administration. So Nigeria Air is the new airline name with a new logo, which you'll see there on your TV screen, devoid. The new logo, as you can see, is devoid of any other national symbol. Remember, Nigerian Airways was an elephant within the symbol. Then you had Air Nigeria, which came in with an eagle. But this one is just a wavy green, white, green, and that's what the Nigeria Air will look like. The government, which is midwifing, the federal government midwifing the new airline with initial funding, will hold just 5% equity stake in the new commercial business, and plans that this will start, Nigeria Air will start flying the skies as early as 2019. A formal launch of this, or inauguration, will be in December. The Nigeria Air plans to take off with 5 aircrafts and targeting 81 routes across the world. 40 of those routes will be local, regional, and sub-region in West Africa, and the rest 41 will be international routes. The Honorable Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says in London on Wednesday that we are fully committed, that the Nigerian authorities are fully committed to fulfilling the campaign promise made by our President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. We are aiming to launch Nigeria Air by the end of this year. Mr. Sirika went on to say that, quote, "We hope to establish an airline that communicates the essence of our beautiful country, an airline we can all be proud of," end of quote. Hadi Sirika also says that the airline, Nigerian Air, is a business and not a social service. So if you think of flying free or carrying extra luggage without paying, you'll be surprised there is no room for such. It says the new airline will run on a PPP model. That's a public-private partnership with investors and strategic partners deciding who would run the airline. Nigeria is currently discussing with a number of operators in Africa, like Ethiopian Airlines and others such as the AMG, to decide who will run the airline. So Nigeria government will have equity, 5%, putting initial capital into it, but the Nigerian government will not run the airline. In fact, this airline will not be run by the Ministry of Aviation or Ministry of Transport. And that's putting that clear right from the word go. And this is some good news. The unfinished petrol subsidy, the Senate plenary yesterday approved the payment of 348 billion naira petrol subsidy claims of oil marketing companies on a request made to the Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is, if you want to follow the money, this is how it goes. The petrol marketers put forward a total claim of 670 billion naira. That's roughly 670.5 billion naira. And this is how the money goes. 55 oil firms, oil marketers, will be paid verified amount totaling 275.75 billion naira. Those who will be getting their subsidies paid in full, this is the list, and that includes a number of them that are PLCs listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We always start with the companies listed on the market. Mobil Oil, Double One PLC is among those who are getting paid in full. MRS is listed on the market. Total Nigeria PLC, Capital Oil PLC, and Eternal Oil. All those are listed on the market. Non-listed oil marketers getting their subsidy claims paid in full include ITO, Bovas, Obert Oil, Sahara Energy, NIPCO, NNPC Retail, Falawiyo Energy, and Hayden. Then there are other oil marketers whose claims are still in contention and verified figures. According to the reports, these folks will be paid just 65% of their total monies. That amounts to about 73.452 billion naira. And that will be paid them pending investigations and further clarifications on their full entitlement. So who's getting part payment among the oil companies? In that include 3 of listed oil companies in our market: Corn Oil PLC, Forte Oil PLC, and Rwanda Nigeria PLC. The rest are unlisted, which includes Honeywell, Ipman Investments, and Matrix Energy. So if you're tracking the stocks of these companies in the market, you'll find answers to where the shares are moving over the last sessions. Lagos ports is messy. The road leading to the ports are also very messy. And this is where we are right now. Lagos ports is littered with empty containers because the terminus has no space to take on delivery of new containers, as thousands of haulage trucks are stranded on highways within the city. That's the story. So there's a problem there within the Lagos ports. So what the NPA did last Friday, that's the Nigerian Port Authority, was to suspend some shipping companies for a few days. Maersk Line Nigeria, however, has protested its suspension by the Port Authority because NPA says these shipping firms have failed to have functional holding bays for their empty containers. And that's the first story, because the containers now litter everywhere. They don't have holding bays for them. And the reason is simple, because the trucks that are supposed to get into the ports and ferry those containers out are the ones loaded couldn't get into the ports. So that we have a problem with several thousands of haulage trucks littering highways across Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial center, a very big eyesore for Nigeria's economic underbelly. So last Friday, Nigerian Port Authority suspended the activities of some major international shippers: Maersk Line, Costco Shipping, APS, and Lansal Shipping. And that's the story there about the messy ports and the messy Lagos ports. Let's clear the mess. But as one of the mess we're trying to clear has to do with the electricity transition market. So the Federal Ministry of Power and Housing is bringing everyone to the table next week, from Monday, July the 23rd to 27th in Benin City, the Edo State capital, and hosting the general public to discuss that topic: sustaining access to electricity through improved power infrastructure. The ministry, in advertorial, in a public announcement, says all state commissioners responsible for power and energy should attend Thursday, July the 23rd session with the Honorable Minister of Power, Babatunde Fashola, Meantime, the chairman of the Senate and House Committees on Power should also be there, including donor agencies in the power sector, including the World Bank, of course, as well as development partners such as the FDB, the power sector operators, and other stakeholders to come into the table and have that conversation about how we go forward with the electricity sector, one of the mess Nigeria is trying to deal with. Let's deal with the stock market. In case you are not in the news yet, the global emerging markets have seen $4 trillion wiped off the books since the beginning of the year. That's the bad news. If you're on the market, you already know that. $4 trillion, thereabout, is the total meltdown in emerging markets, and we got knocked by that also as a frontier market. So yesterday, here it goes. Here we go. We lost another 0.6% on the Nigerian market on the third trading day of the week. The equity cap sank again to 13.31. This market is sinking like its counterparts around the world, emerging and frontier markets. So, shed very little tear for the market if you losing some money as we speak. Roll that over. Let's go to the market volume, and you can see where the market is sinking further. Look at the volume. How did we get to 181.2 million shares in just in one session with the 300 million, 200 million? They had a new low yesterday of less than 200 million shares traded for just about 4.5 million US dollars. That's less than 2 billion local currency. In total deals, we're less than, we lost about 1,000 transactions. So a bit of a very lackluster Wednesday for the Nigerian equities. Look at the 5 main sectors, and you can see, with the exception of insurance, that we discussed very strongly yesterday and extensively, so we're not sticking with the insurance today, where I'm sticking my nose with the oil and gas, because they are the one getting these billions of naira that the Senate has approved on the request from the president. And that is where some folks in that industry and everyone should be paying particular interest. But if you start with the banking sector, Wema Bank reported a very impressive numbers for its first half. But yesterday, that news got trampled, as it were. Yeah, got trampled in the market slowdown. So Wema Bank shares was down 8.82%. Investors ignored the half-year positive numbers from this lender. Then we have GT Bank from the top tier 1 bank, losing 6.76 on the day. Consumer goods sector was down 1.06%, despite gains by bellwethers such as Dangote Sugar. Then you have industrial goods where Lafarge lost 1.45%. This is one cement company looking to release its earnings for the second quarter of the year in the next couple of weeks. We'll look into that before the end of the month, perhaps as early as the first week in August. Then you have insurance 1.32 in the green, oil and gas a negative 1.2, and I'm going to get through that very quickly. Let's take you through the those folks who will be getting this repaid subsidy money. That includes corn oil. We heard that already. Will get half paid. 40 oil will get half paid as well. A double one, which is mobile oil, is getting full paid. MRS will get fully paid. Owando will get half payment until other figures are verified. You can see the numbers yesterday. Total will get fully paid, unchanged on Thursday trading day. Etana Oil is also getting paid some of the outstanding subsidies. Japol is not in that business. Japol is in the oil maritime services industry. Then finally, Capital Oil, which is one of the smallest capitalized oil retailer, will get paid as well. It's sitting there at 33 kobo. Let's see what moves on that particular stock when they get that money. And of course, we have the notice already for the unlisted securities market. This is one new high. I'm bullish on the USI. That's a new crossing. Okay, a lot of applause for them, if you can. 700.61, almost 1% for the unlisted securities market. Thumbs up, guys. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Unlisted securities market. So it's happening. See you in 2.